Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to another weekly edition of the Therapy Stand. Today, I've got a very special guest with me to pour over the embers of the season, and it is none other than Droghty Devil.
I'm not supposed to be here. I'm not
a
supposed to be
3-1
here.
loss. I think today, I summed up on Twitter, I said United grasped a loss from the jaws of victory, aided and abetted by a referee that clearly wasn't work experience. Goals from Saka, Tavares, and that thunderbolt from Xhaka. It could be all to be different had Alex Telles not literally rose to levels of incompetence I haven't seen a left back for many, many years. Plus the fact Bruno Fernandes missed a sitter. Why he was taking the penalty, we were going to pour over. But I really felt today that that game was there for the taking at a half time. And, I think we made Arsenal in the first half look better than what they were. That being said, it's probably one of the best team performances, Droghty, I've seen since Spurs away before Christmas. So it's one of the few games today, Droghty, where you're actually engaged and you're really, really willing them on. You're engaged in the process. And I think, bloody hell, lads, come on, a bit more effort. We can do these. And then last 10 minutes, on comes Rashford and Lingard, and literally we're playing with 9 men. We bring on 2 ghosts that jog around the pitch, and it's 9 men for the last 10 minutes. And that, for me, kind of literally took the wind out of my sails, Droghty. I don't know about you, but that's how I felt.
Well, the cavalry's arrived now. Kev and Jordan have joined us. Thank you, lads.
Apologies.
We're earlier than we were going to be. So,
right.
But just on the point of Bruno, for me, he should not be taking that penalty. Should not be taking that penalty. Cristiano Ronaldo scores that all day long. It becomes 2-2 at that point, and then you fancy Cristiano to get another hat-trick and get another 3-2 win. That, for me, just because someone's got the armband, sorry, you might be captain today, Bruno, but you should not be taking that penalty when you know that that goal's so important. Don't care if it's for confidence. I get Cristiano probably wants to give it to him because he's thinking his compatriot needs something for Manchester United, but it's the wrong decision.
No.
And ultimately, it's 2-2. It's anyone's game, and it just changed the course of the game. Jordan, you were going to say?
Yeah. Listen, that whole thing about compatriot, I was thinking this earlier because somebody tweeted it saying, he was trying to G up Bruno and let him take a penalty. You do that when we're 3-4-0 up. When a game is on a knife edge like that, and Ronaldo's in the form he is, coming off of a hat-trick, already scored once, he takes the penalty. And it comes back to the same situation as Harry Maguire. You don't need an armband to be the captain and to be the leader. And Ronaldo should have took that ball and said, I'm taking this penalty. I don't know whose decision it was, but whoever's decision it was has cost us points today. Because if the game had gone level, we would have went on to win it. We were on top.
Yeah, Jordan, I'm with you 100%. The game's in a balance. You're at tipping point. You're 2-1 down, penalty. Let the go. It's like Tom Brady not throwing the final pass to win a Super Bowl. You let your GOAT take the goddamn penalty. It's 2-2. Game is poised. And I firmly believe Ronaldo takes a penalty. It's 2-2. Arsenal players, heads would have dropped, and we definitely would have done them for me. But as I said in my intro, that was literally a loss grasped from the jaws of victory. And so it's disappointing, but I think there was a lot of positives today, which you want to get into. Kevin Ashford, what's your thoughts? Another loss. Your Champions League C Cup, here we come. Or no European football at all, which I would prefer.
Yeah, I've got a door I need to sort out in the kitchen there. I've just put my foot clean through it. I honestly, at a stage, I kind of resigned to the fact that Manchester United, this is what you get from them. But today, I think it was a really strange one. Like I say, I find myself slightly disappointed because I think at 2-1, there was only one team in that game. And I'm actually looking and thinking, we get this next goal now. We'll win this. We'll do them. We will do them. I didn't think Arsenal were anything special, which again poses its own question. It probably tells you everything you need to know about where Manchester United are. We have a disallowed goal that was an inch offside. On another day, we could have had a penalty. I can argue about all these things. Dalot hit the bar, he hit the post. So from that, there's positives to take. I thought that Sancho was good. McTominay broke up play in the midfield, which I think is something that we've lacked in the last couple of games. But, I mean, we have to put respect on the man Ronaldo. What a difficult week it has been for Ronaldo. I think that's easily, as an all-round performance, the best game that we've seen from Ronaldo in a United shirt. I've said it before, some people say that Ronaldo is the problem. He's part of the problem at Manchester United. I dread to think where we would be this season without Cristiano Ronaldo. He is banging in goals, very little service, and he's doing it in probably the worst Manchester United team I have seen in my lifetime. You put him in a better team, he'll be lethal.
Kev, on that point, just quickly, that it's not just the worst Man United team that we've been. This is the worst team Ronaldo's ever played in at any level of his career.
Easily, yeah,
by far.
And then we go and show it. I mean, fantastic ball by Matic, swings it in, but that's what you have to do. You play to Ronaldo's strengths. We've said it so many times before. I thought, like I say, easily his best all-round performance in a Manchester United shirt in what has been a difficult week. And before the match, you get the usual build-up, the Keane and Vieira thing in the tunnel. And you know what? It's just so sad to look back on. We're no different to Arsenal. Them two teams out there used to be fighting for league titles. And today, you've got Ramsdale trying to turn like Martin Keown, literally celebrating like Arsenal, like it was the 94th minute of the game, and Arsenal, Bruno's missed that penalty, and Arsenal have just won the quadruple or something. And that is a mentality thing. I'm wound up, but I'm looking at it, I'm thinking, this is the mentality issue we've got at Manchester United with the likes of Harry Maguire, who goes and plays for England. He's silencing the crowd, scoring a goal against a team that I couldn't even tell you who they were. And then you've got a Ramsdale, same thing, playing for Arsenal. Now, the difference was when Martin Keown jumped over Ruud van Nistelrooy, both teams were going for the title. They were competitive. And now we're arsing around, trying to get top four. And it's just, honestly, you look at it and I just think, I know people say that United fans are deluded, like you say, Jay, living off the fumes of the past. But I mean, Arsenal fans, different breed altogether. And I'm sure there'll be loads of them in the comments here, and I'll just be reading them and going.
It was the battle of the fallen giants. That's what it was. And yeah, I actually didn't feel like we played that badly today. There was one or two performances that really let us down. But overall, Arsenal can't go away, and I know they've scored 3 goals. We've given that game.
It was totally against the run of play. The Xhaka goal. I was like, fuck. I was like, what have we got to do? What have we got to do?
Both teams were not good. Like the fact that we're sat here saying, "Oh, I think we played well today," shows how far we've fallen, because we didn't. We just played better than the last few games, which has been horrendous. I mean, I don't think Arsenal were that great, but at the end of the day, they won the game because, like you said, Jordan, we give it to him. It is what it is, but it's just so unfortunate that we're looking like I thought McTominay and Matic didn't play well today, and people are saying they thought they did. And it's like, that's how bad we've been in the midfield recently, that we appreciate that as a good performance. I think the team is just so poor and needs a huge reset.
Guys, I just did everything you said there, and I was trying to think of my own analogy. So what Arsenal today against us, it's like, how in boxing, how you've got 2 once great heavyweight boxers and they both come out of retirement, and in the build up to the fight, the channel screening the fight or the pay-per-view, they're showing old clips of their best bits, their best knockouts back in the day to sell tickets and to put bums on seats. And then when the fight happens, you're built up, you're on edge, and the 2 boys literally spend the fight in the middle of the ring hugging each other, and the ref is calling break, and one of them literally stumbles to a knockout win in the last round. And that's what it was like today. We were like 2 aging once great heavyweights in the ring. You were willing us to come back and win the game. Arsenal, as you've all said, gentlemen, and Beth, you're correct. No team was any better than the other. Just, I did feel today, I don't know if you guys want to go into it, I felt the referee today was on work experience. He was like a kid that you bring in from school who's like 15, 16 for the 2 weeks work experience. And they're literally like a deer in the headlights, and they just do not know what they're doing. I think that ref today, the Xhaka goal, great strike, full credit due to him. But De Gea is completely unsighted. Arsenal have a man offside. I know on Sky Sports, on BT Sports, I should say, Rio was losing his rag about it. So I did feel as well that Alanga today, great player. I think in 2 or 3 years' time, when he puts on a bit of muscle mass, he's going to be a real force. But today, he was kicked, he was pushed, he was dragged around the right side of the pitch like a rag doll, got no protection referee. And I felt today, a couple of those Arsenal players should have booked it much earlier. But okay, I'm not going to make excuses to the referee, but I think that referee today was very, very poor.
Yeah, I think it's worse than work experience. I think it's when Parks football, when you ask a parent on the sideline to just officiate the game because the ref hasn't turned up. It was worse than that. Totally reliant on VAR. Couldn't make a decision for himself. And I can see all the Arsenal fans in the comments with the salt emojis. Not salty. It just is what it is. Like you've got the points. Congratulations. You know, we gave you that game. Like we gave you that game. And I know, Beth, you're right. It is a sign of how far that we've fallen. Now we're sat here saying, "Oh, we actually didn't play that badly." You look at where we were against Liverpool, and I thought, you know, it was a much better performance than what we have been handed in. But it's disappointing. The decision to not give Ronaldo that penalty, I just can't get my head around it. Like, someone has to come out and explain why that has happened. It's shambolic.
I want to know who's actually behind that decision, because from I'm not part of the management team. I'm just a fan watching, and we all can assume Ronaldo at the moment, everything he's hitting is going in. Every chance he's getting, he's scoring. And Bruno is so out of form and hasn't scored a goal since he signed his contract for us yet. It's a really crucial point in the game. We've got this penalty. We should have had one earlier, in my opinion. You've got a penalty now. It's time to get the game going and come back into the game and hopefully go on to win it. And you choose the player that's massively out of form and hasn't took the last penalty. Ronaldo took the last penalty, scored it, and he's been scoring. He's been not only scoring goals, but in great form. Yet Bruno takes it. It's not as if it's one of them games where it's like, we can afford to give this Bruno this penalty to get his confidence back up. Come on, lads. Yeah. Let's all get Bruno's confidence back up. No, it's a very, very important goal in a decisive game that you have to go and win. So I think that decision just reflects how poor our in-game management has been all season. It's been awful. It's like today, certain parts of the game, I said, we deserve to be winning right now, but we don't know what decisions to make in the game to make it go in our favour. And I think that's what Arsenal had over us. Their decision-making was better. And our decision-making all season has been poor, very naive at times. And even when Granit Xhaka goes on to score that goal, I notice when he does it, whether it should stand or not, there's players stood around moaning while he's going and striking that ball. Don't moan to the referee. Wait until the whistle. It's simple. It's simple things that you should know in football as football players, but our players seem to have got carried away with certain areas of the game, which is costing them.
And that was Bruno giving the ball away cheaply. You know, this does become a debate. I am a Bruno Fernandes fan. I think he carried the club when he come to Manchester United. I went as far as to say as the impact he made at Manchester United was as big as what Eric Cantona was at United. I literally thought we could get the right players in and around him, then Manchester United would be back challenging again. But at the minute, I mean, I've always been one to say you should be in the team on merit, not just because of who you are. Now, Manchester United find themselves stuck because they've given him this new contract. It's almost the curse of the contract. You know, his form has dipped. Now, regardless of what he's on, Bruno Fernandes should not be in that starting 11. He should not be in the starting 11. And you're absolutely correct. The decision today, if you're 3-1 up, 4-1 up, and you want to do that thing where you go, friends, you know, yeah, mate, you can have the penalty. You know, you've not scored one for a bit or whatever. Let's get his confidence going. No. This is a massive moment of the game, as Beth rightly said. You score that and it's 2-2. Arsenal dip. We know they would have bottled it. And there was only one team that would have won it from then on. And I firmly believe it would have been Manchester United. But no, for some reason, there's some kind of debate and it's Bruno that has it. And the painful thing is, he's done his hop, skip, jump, all that arsing around, sent the keeper the wrong way. You know, and I'm like, he's giving the eyes, and then still hits the outside of the post and puts it out. And I'm like,
as he picked that ball up, did you all? I knew he was going to miss.
I knew.
Surely everybody knew, didn't they?
I knew.
As he picked it up, I just looked at him.
I didn't watch it.
Deep down, a lot of the players would have thought that. I don't think a lot of the players would have been confident, which is why at that stage you need a character, a leader like Ronaldo to say, "This is mine." You know, you're not. Yeah, but I have not scored one for. No, this is my penalty. It's a massive moment of the game. You know, step back, mate. I know you got the captain's armband on. This is my moment. You know, just I don't know. I do not understand that, because that, again, it must be something that's been said before the game, or something's just switched at that minute where Bruno said, "This is mine."
This is another
I
thing.
want to pull out one key phrase from Kevin. Sorry, Beth. Kevin came out with a banger there. Curse of the contract. We locked Marcel into a 5-year contract. Look what happened.
Rashford. Yeah.
Rashford, 5-year contract. Phil Jones, 5-year contract. We gave Henderson, I think, a 3-year deal on 140 a week. We already had 2 goalkeepers. So surely, good business and due diligence would dictate we're not going to give any player a contract until the new manager comes in. Now, bear in mind, Bruno was given his contract before the Ten Hag deal was done. So good business, good governance would dictate, okay, no one's getting a contract, new manager comes in, and he would decide whom he wants to stay or go. So right now, as it stands, and I've said in other shows, can Bruno even function as a cog in the wheel in a Ten Hag system? Time shall tell. So it's like now that Ten Hag, he's stuck up Maguire. Bruno today, I'm going to call it, guys, he's the worst performance for the club that I've seen. And yes, when he came in after that Burnley loss, he did carry the club on his back. His goals and assists were phenomenal. But Bruno, as I see today, guys, I am questioning that contract, Beth. I don't know about you, but I have big questions of Bruno right now.
Yeah, you've got to call it out. You do have to call it out. I've been a Bruno fan for a very long time, still a Bruno fan, but you call out Maguire's captaincy skills, you've got to call out Bruno's. I thought it wasn't a good showing of a captain again today. It really wasn't. I thought he was petulant again, didn't really affect the game. In fact, he was in midfield. I thought he was a bit of a ghost. He was making the complete wrong runs at the wrong time. And another player that just seems like he isn't disciplined. I think Bruno under Ten Hag, under a right coach, could be a very, very good player for this club. I do believe that. I think he's got it there. I think we've seen that. But at the moment, he just looks so out of place, lacking in confidence. And I think as well, just the players just don't work. They don't work together, and the confidence is on the floor and the quality is not there. And when you expect a player like Bruno Fernandes, which when he was in his form he was last season, you've seen how good he was on the pitch and his leadership skills. Today, I thought it was, again, the comments of moaning come in, petulance, and when it's time to step up and take the penalty, if you're going to choose to take that penalty, don't know whose choice it was, as the captain, you've got to go and score it, that pivotal moment in the game, and then losing the ball again. In a position where you can't afford to lose the ball. You can't afford to lose the ball in the final third, in Arsenal's final third. You just can't afford to do it. And Xhaka goes on and seals the game. So Maguire gets stick for his poor performances as a captain. Bruno's got to get the same. And I don't think any player in that team really can get off lightly for the performances as of late, apart from the likes of De Gea, Ronaldo. I thought Sancho and Elanga put in a shift today as well. I thought they played very well. But apart from that, whole team's very poor. And it's like, we talked about Elanga, like the fact that he's shining through now as one of the players that's putting in the shift, it's not good for us fans, because he should be a player that is coming off the bench for 10, 20 minutes. Not even every game right now, because we've got that much squad depth and we've got senior players in front of him. The fact we're relying on Elanga to go out there and put in a shift it shows where we're at, and we'll just see what happens next season. But at the moment, there's players in that team that are just so mismatched with each other. It's like Matic and McTominay. I thought they both came into the game very well, and I thought Matic was probably our best midfield player. But at the start of the game, they both had no idea what roles they were doing. They were on top of each other a lot, both hiding behind defenders when the centre-backs were bringing the ball out, no passing lanes open, not getting into space. Yeah, they both went and got a tackle in, and Matic put in a great cross, which Ronaldo finished spectacularly. Like, Ronaldo made that the goal it was. But is a midfield pairing, I don't think it works. Don't think it worked at all.
Jordan, just to tease out the point there on Elanga that the bet rightly raised, that he is now first choice. That's testament to how far Marcus Rashford's stock has fallen over the last 18 months. That a young kid, how old is Elanga? I'm not sure. Is he 18, 19? I'm not sure how old he is. Some of the comments will know. So Rashford comes on today, as I said earlier on, with Lingard, and there goes. We were playing with 9 men for the last 10 minutes. So what are your thoughts today, Jordan, on Elanga, his performance as a whole, and the point Bet made as well, that even though some of us in Twitter were bringing up the performance of McTominay and McSauce, but they were, I suppose, a solid 6 out of 10 today. But, Arsenal midfield is no better than ours. But today, we're still going back to an aging Matic in that midfield, plus a McTominay who we know is limited. But is that a testament that back in January, when we were all pushing for a CDN to be signed, we still didn't get it? And I think, as a result, here we are, Jordan.
Yeah, we know the options are absolutely threadbare, and we're in survival mode trying to get to the end of the season. No one's suddenly going to come out and have a worldie and shock us. What we're seeing, we've always seen. Nothing's going to change. I think the thing with Elanga, and it's important to not get too caught up in it. Elanga shows great effort and great passion, but he's not playing great. Yeah. Because he's young, and what we're doing is having an over-reliance on a youth player. There's no way he should be playing as much football as he's playing. The game was actually screaming out for old school Rashford, the Rashford that we remember. Like, somebody that can attack at pace and can beat a man and whatnot. Like, Elanga's decision-making sums up the fact that he's 19 years of age. So yeah, you can't throw shade at him, but he shows a way more effort than what Rashford's showing. So he's being thrown in there. We've got to get to the end of the season, and we've got to fix this problem. Like I said, we're not learning anything different. I actually thought, I'm one of McTominay's biggest critics, but he did bits in midfield today that I looked at and thought, do you know what? Fair play to him. It was good to see. But again, we're praising players for showing passion. They're not dominating games. They're not controlling games. They're applying themselves, and we're saying, oh yeah, they've played well. Well, they haven't actually played well. They're a 6 out of 10. We need 8s, 9s, and 10s, and we just don't have that in this squad. It is absolute threadbare.
Yeah. Kevin, I'm looking at the table here. Currently on 54 points, 3 points behind Spurs, and we are actually only 13 points ahead of Newcastle in 10th. So the point that I want to raise, Kevin, is you take David De Gea out of that side, you take Ronaldo out of that side, and we're mid-table, mate.
We're probably just above relegation. I've said it baffles me, as I said earlier, the Ronaldo thing, that anybody that says that Ronaldo's part of the problem, for me, he's a solution. He's been a solution at Manchester United this season. The other one is David De Gea. I mean, how anybody even debated at the start of the season who should be in the sticks, Dean Henderson or David De Gea? I think that was just pure slander. I honestly do not understand anybody that was banging the Dean Henderson drum. David De Gea has shown he is world class. And again, I know he's conceded 3 goals today, but the first one, he makes a really, really top draw save. That is not his fault that Dalot is not goal side of the goal scorer. And throughout that game, the Xhaka goal, he can't see it. A penalty. I feel sorry for David De Gea more than anything. I think Manchester United, I'll go as far as to say, as United have let David De Gea down big time. This guy should have been, I know he's won titles or whatever at Manchester United. He should have won so much more. He should have so much more to show for him. I'm grateful more than anything that David De Gea's stuck around for the ride, because I know if it hadn't been for certain facts that Ed Woodward was, supposed to turn on the fax machine that night, he probably would have gone to Real Madrid. Now, I look at that as being Ed Woodward's best moment ever at Manchester United. Call it genius, call it incompetence, which it probably was on Ed Woodward's side, but definitely his legacy will be remembered as the man that managed to keep David De Gea at Manchester United. But he's never thrown his toys out the pram, never complained, just got on with it. Dave saves. Everywhere you go, you always take De Gea with you. He's saved us on many, many occasions. And today, if it hadn't have been for him, could have been a lot more embarrassing.
Yeah.
Beth, Kevin raised a great point there. Sorry, Jordan. That basically the club has let De Gea down. De Gea's last league title for us was 2013. Sure, we won the FA Cup under Van Gaal and a League Cup and a Europa League under Jose. But that's what he's won in his career. And he's also subsequently lost his place as Spanish number 1. So would you agree with what Kevin said, that we have failed David De Gea as a player?
I feel like De Gea is a fantastic keeper, and I think he deserves to be the Spain number 1. But I don't think the club is at fault for him not being the Spanish international goalkeeper. I think that's just the coach that is in charge of that. I think De Gea has shown more than enough that he's capable of being Spain's goalkeeper. I mean, we've given him a very good show reel, actually, with all the shots he's had flying at him over the years. But 100%, he should be in a winning team. He should be winning things. He's the only player in that team at the moment that can hold his head held high after every performance, including Ronaldo as of late. I thought Sancho was another one of them today in Elanga, but I mean, a consistent basis, come out every single week and show leadership skills, which he has, and be the saving grace for us at the back. He deserves to win things, and I just hope that he keeps his place at this. But you've got to listen to what the manager's going to do. But I think he's the least of our problems this summer. Whether he stays as that number 1 goalkeeper will be a different question. But I think he'll be vital for us next season, especially coming under a new system. The centre-backs don't currently know. I think he's going to be vital. So hopefully he stays in the team and we can turn it around and actually maybe go on and win something with him in the team. Whether that's going to happen at the moment, that it's very slim. But I think that his whole back line's let him down. I think centre-backs have been not great all season. Maguire definitely not been good enough. And you look at the full-backs again today in Dalot and Telles, both horrendous defensively. I thought going forward, Dalot showed a bit. He showed a bit, but defensively, I thought they both weren't good enough. And it's like Tellers again, mistake after mistake after mistake. Them 2 fullbacks are not good enough in this moment in time. Dallow's got potential, but both them fullbacks are not good enough to be Manchester United starting fullbacks. You look at Liverpool, you look at City, you look at Chelsea. What have they all got in common? Apart other things, the rest of the team are better, but all their fullbacks are fantastic. All their fullbacks are at the cult of their game. They're vital to the way they play. Our fullbacks are not good enough. And if I was Manchester United in the summer, I mean, if Romano comes on the show saying we're 100% signing a striker, I'd be looking at the fullbacks before I sign a striker. Genuinely, I would, because it's a position we are really, really weak in. Them fullbacks are not good enough to be starting every week for Manchester United.
Yeah. Do you know what, Beth? Like, I don't know if you feel the same way. Every time I watch Man United play, another position suddenly becomes more priority than the other position.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like even the comments saying Dalot was good today. He had good moments, but he was sleeping on the back post for that goal. He cost us a goal, basically. And he had good moments, I agree, but he's not good enough in general.
Tellez was terrible.
The main problem we have at Manchester United, you've got 2 fullbacks, right? You've got, say, Dalot and Wan-Bissaka. Out of them, defensively, Wan-Bissaka is better than Dalot, but attacking, Dalot is better than Wan-Bissaka. So there's kind of no crossover. On the left-hand side, then you've got Tellez and Shaw. Now, I would say that Tellez, as a forward-thinking player, is better attacking-wise, whereas Luke Shaw's better defensively than Tellez. Tellez is a bit rough. He's more of kind of a converted kind of wing-back, isn't he, more than anything? And that's the thing you have then, because when you mix them players up, you're losing something by playing one of them. You're losing your attacking threat, or you're losing the defensive kind of cover. So it's a kind of a double-edged sword, and it's like, who do you go with? Whoever you go with, one of them is going to be lacking either an attacking threat or a defensive threat. That they're not all-round players, are they? And the top clubs, Liverpool, Manchester City, these left and right backs, wing backs, call them whatever you want, are a major part of football teams these days.
One of the most important positions on the pitch.
They are.
Yeah,
they are.
And it's a vital part of the team.
So, Beth, the next time you're on Romano, maybe raise that point with him. Does he feel that we are even in the market for full-backs? And maybe ask him, what full-backs around Italy and Europe does he rate that can come in and play as wing-backs? I know, Jordan, you've sung the praises many times of Tariq Lamptey to come in. I know you're a big fan of his. And Kevin's spot on there. It's like if you could morph Dalot and Armand Batacler together, and then on one side, and then morph Shaw and Telles, then you have the atypical wing-back that obviously Ten Hag wants to play with. So, as you said, guys, another game now, and now we're looking at two other positions that we need reinforcements. So it's now a case of you're keeping Bruno. You have to keep Bruno because of the contract. You're keeping De Gea. You're keeping Ronaldo, and then you're looking at buying 8 players, 8 ins, 8 outs. We're not going to do that, unfortunately.
No, and that's why you've got to give it time. Get Pelters for this one as well. But I've said, I think if Shaw's fit, he can do a job for next season. He needs to be evaluated. Is he consistent enough? If he is consistent, he's a good enough left back to play. It's not critical now that you need to get a left back. Right back, certainly, I think we need to be in the market for one. Dalot is decent, but he's not good enough to be starting week in, week out, in my opinion. It might change under the coaching of Ten Hag. Wan-Bissaka definitely isn't going to be up to Ten Hag's system, so you've got to get a right back. And then you look, definitely need a centre back, definitely need a CDM. That's 3. That's already gone. If they can afford to go and get a striker as well, get a striker. But that is, out of the 4 positions, the bottom of my list. You've got to get a centre back, you've got to get a right back, and you've got to get a CDM. You've got to. When you look at the wingers
Jordan,
as well.
So Beth is saying there's 4 positions that we have to, as a necessity.
He's gone. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll jump in. He's had enough. Yeah, you're right, Beth. It is a case of almost like a traffic light system where you look at every single position and decide what's red and urgent, what's amber and can wait, and what's green, and safe. And I'd like to actually, I think we should do our own show on that at some point and have a look at that. But like I said, every time I watch the team, another position just suddenly becomes more important than the other position. I'd argue that we need 2 midfielders with Pogba moving on, and the fact that Matic has already said he's leaving. It's going from bad to worse. But again, you look at Arsenal today, they made signings, they invested in the team, but their best player come through their academy. And this is what I was saying before, is that like, if the spine of the team is solid, it's easy to introduce an Elanga or somebody like that, because there isn't any pressure. What we keep doing, and what we've done over the last God knows how many years, is throw these youth players in, and there's such a reliance on them to be the next class of 92 and save us and win us the title, that these guys crumble. And it's happened with Rashford, it's happened with Lingard, and so many other players before that. We've got to fix the spine, and then we have there isn't the pressure then to find somebody in the youth. We keep searching for this star from the youth. So that's definitely something to look at. But I don't know who said about Newcastle, but you look at how much progress they made in one January transfer window. That midfielder they signed, Bruno, I can't remember. What a baller.
Yeah.
Tell me he wouldn't have come into the Man United team, made a massive difference. There are players out there. We just got to give these scouts a kick at the arse to find them.
Yeah, but I think Jordan would have been, well, who is he? What's his social media profile? Is he play for his country? And that is what we've gone down. And you are so right in saying it's easier to introduce youth academy products into your first team when you have a style of play, a system, which Manchester United don't have, and a backbone, a spine of a team, as you just said. And the whole point of you even mentioning the class of 92 then is the fact that when the Beckham, Scholes, Giggs and all them players broke through, they had Schmeichel, Bruce, Pallister, Keane, Cantona. There was a spine. Any one of them could have been captain of Manchester United. Whereas at the minute, we throw in a player like Elanga, all of a sudden the song comes out, Rhythm is a Dancer and all this, everyone's getting giddy, but it's too much pressure. The pressure shouldn't be on a lad like that. And I know we'd love to build these players up and that, but there should be other players helping him along the way. And at the minute, I don't see much guidance apart from Ronaldo, who is the one player who would say that younger players will certainly look up to. And if they don't, they need to head test him, because you just have to look at him as being the complete, and he's the ultimate professional.
Yeah.
Guys,
can I ask you a question? Do you think Rangnick has checked out now?
Don't think he's checked out.
I don't think he's checked out. Snap.
Yeah.
I don't think it's checked out, but you can see from the press conferences, his demeanor has changed, completely changed.
I think he's given up.
Yeah.
He's given up on the players.
Yeah, but that's effectively that is effectively checking out. You've given up on it.
When you look at him on the sidelines today, he was bothered by everything. Like he was showing actually a bit of aggression, which I've not seen. He's bothered because he knows how poor we are and these mistakes that the players are making. But I think he knows what the end result is going to be at the end of the season.
Let me give it to you another way. If he knows at the end of this season he's dropping to 6 hours a week, like. What has he got left to give now between now and the end of the season? Because I looked at that presser yesterday, and the way he spoke was him subliminally firing shots at the board, firing shots at the team. Like, it was great to hear that he was honest. But I just look at him now, and what has he got in himself left to try and motivate these players to try and get them going to the end of the season?
When you say checked out, Jordan, I see checked out as when you check out, it's like, at the end of the season, he's gone and that's it. Now, the only thing I will say is I think he's certainly given up with the majority of the players. He knows for a fact he cannot trust the majority of these players. So in that sense, he's fighting a losing battle. He's going to training. We're hearing the stories leak. They don't like the training methods. They don't like this, that. They think he's quite boring. Them leaks come out for a reason. And he will know that behind his back, there'll be clicks on that training ground. They're talking behind his back. Some of them will be going, who is this fella, and this and that. He has to deal with that. So it's very difficult. Now, the one signing off he will get, and his sort of parting shot or call or whatever on this will be, is that, as I've said it before, are these players absolutely stupid? Do they not think that Rangnick is going to be discussing this with Erik ten Hag? He will pass over every little bit of information, and he will say, you can't count on him. He usually rocks up to training whatever time he wants. He doesn't put in a full shift. You can't count on him. Can't count on him. He'll be giving all this to Erik ten Hag. And it's the reason that the other day Rangnick come out after a game saying that we need, 9 or 10 new players. If that's not the wake-up call that some of these players need, for Christ's sake, do you know what I mean? Just do one, man.
Well, have you heard what Scholes has come out and said? Have you seen it, guys?
Go ahead.
I had a quick chat with Jesse Lingard the other day. I'm sure he won't mind me saying that dressing room is a disaster. So, I mean, he probably does mind you coming out and saying that, Scholes, not going to lie. Yeah. But that is proof in the pudding there. A player that he's in that dressing room every week has gone to Scholes and told him the dressing room is a disaster. There is no unity there. You can see it on the pitch when the likes of Jesse Lingard and Rashford come on. Like, the body language, it shows. I thought Jesse Lingard... I mean, he's running about a bit, but that's what's getting praised now. That's how
the standards have dropped. We're kind of at the stage now where the expectation level expectations have dropped that low that we're actually praising players for running, just running. You look at Hannibal. Hannibal comes on at Anfield, and in 5 minutes, we're actually. I'm not saying we're getting excited, but because we've been starved of any kind of fight, passion, desire. You get a lad that comes on at Anfield, gets a yellow card, could have got sent off, basically runs around a bit recklessly. And yet we're looking at that and going, but it's because we've been starved of it. We used to have 11 players who did that. And we haven't got really any now. And yet a lad comes on like that and we are singing his praises. What for? Just like running around, like showing a bit of passion.
And Kevin Ashford, therein lies the problem. Right, you put any four of us or anybody watching the show in a United kit for the last 15 minutes, and we run about a bit. Some of us might even go and smash somebody, a la Roy Keane, and some like Lingard is getting a lot for running about. I thought running about getting your hat right up, putting tackles in, will be the bare minimum requirement of being a professional footballer.
Exactly.
But then again, Lingard got away with saying that the Liverpool game was a free hit. Maguire got away with saying, and I'm paraphrasing now because I'm not quoting directly because I can't remember the exact quote, that we have no extra or added motivation to beat Liverpool tonight to stop them winning a quadruple. And that is a dressing room. Come on, give over. And back to Jordan's point regarding, you asked originally, had Rangnick checked out? I think the last 3 press conferences, Rangnick, for me, is resigned to the fact that he's trying to put lipstick on a pig. And these players, they're not up for the fight. And he's trying to put lipstick, mascara, eyeshadow on a bloody pig. That's what these players are.
Well, you know
Jay.
You'd be worried if the dressing room wasn't bad. The thing is, though, you see the players, they got absolutely taunted at Anfield. The crowd taking the piss out of them. The same thing happened.
You can see now as a pig with lipstick on. I can't get the image out of my head.
What?
Oh, God.
At least we can laugh, guys. At least we can laugh. At least we can laugh. You know, at least we can laugh about it.
Jay, that has really made my day, mate. I honestly just want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. Today was bad, but it's just got a whole lot more interesting, mate. Thank you.
I think now already we could have a United Stand T-shirt and we could have the therapy stand, an image of a pig, and if you know, you know. Come on, Mark Overage, do it. That's a T-shirt ready to be made right there. But guys, okay, we move on, okay? Moving on now to a game against Chelsea, who clearly they're going to get top 4, no question about it. The question I've been asking nearly in every show, where do we go from here? Another loss to add to the litany of losses this season, albeit a better performance, guys. Let's be fair. It was a better performance, but I just wish that we had given that performance weeks ago against Everton and Leicester and Liverpool lately. So Chelsea now, to say I'm worried and are already filled with trepidation is an understatement. I think Chelsea are going to rip us apart. Beth, what do you think?
Well, like you said, Jay, it's too little too late. Showing a bit of effort now. We should have done it previously in the season. We would have been in a better position for these games coming up. But honestly, got to go out there and try and win. Don't know how. Well, there's a way that you can do it, but it's like, I was looking at the league table after that game. We're not even secured for any Europe right now. We could go completely out of Europe, which some would say is what these players deserve. But it's like, the players still have got something to play for. You want to be in the Europa League. It's a chance of a trophy. And it's sad that that's what we have to play for at this point in the season. But there is still stuff to play for, despite what some of the players have come out and said. So hopefully you see the same fight continued and you see the players proving themselves and trying to put to bed these last 2 performances, because even though we played better against Arsenal, you still got beat 3-1 at the Emirates. Like, it is embarrassing for these players. So they need to come out and show a performance, and I'd be dropping players if I could. But this, like we've said across the show, that the squad is very thin bare, and that is unfortunately the way we are. So you go out there against Chelsea and Ralph's got to try and put a game plan together to win that game. It's going to be very, very difficult. But we've got to try and do it. So we'll have to see.
Jordan, where do you sit now? Would you rather next season not have any European football and give Ten Hag that time on a training ground, week in, week out, from August to May, and not have to deal with trips to far-flung ends of Eastern Europe? What's your thoughts on that?
I've got absolutely no time or desire about that Conference League. I don't really know what it is. All I know is that loads of my mates have got the chance of qualifying for it, and they play, like I said, in Welsh local teams. So I got no time for that. It's Europa League or bust for me.
Yeah.
Kevin, on the Malbec or Cab Sav, what's your thoughts next season? Same question to you. Would you rather finish 8th or 9th, not have European football and give Ten Hag time and training ground, or do you want Europa League, which, as Beth said, chance for trophy?
I don't want Europa League. I don't even know what the Europa League conference is. I don't want to be in that. So, that would suggest that we either finish fourth or what would that be, about ninth? To
I think
fall
8th or 9th.
outside the Europa League,
Yeah.
which would be a disastrous season, don't get me wrong. But you certainly can't go out with the kind of mindset now that you lose every single game so that you avoid being in the Europa League. So it's a tough one to call. Obviously, my preference would be that we finish outside of that and looking to build for Erik ten Hag's first season at Manchester United. You know, if he doesn't have Champions League football, Europa League football, one less thing to worry about, isn't it? Arteta, in comparisons, had a bit of a free ride this season because Arsenal haven't had European football. He's managed to bed his signings in, go about his business, and it's kind of a sort of a free hit season for him, isn't it? Because they're not playing Wednesday, Saturday, or Thursday, Sunday. So
and also
that could be for Ten Hag in his first season.
If you look back as well, Kevin, the season that Jose won the Europa League, it was almost like he got to March and he literally had binned the Premiership and was putting all his cards on the Europa League table to go and win that, to secure a Champions League spot next season. So, Ben, I think it's a bit of a double-edged sword. I personally don't want any European football, but I take your point on it's a trophy, but it's a very arduous run to get that trophy.
For me, you've got to try and go for that Europa League. I know it is one of them where, like you just said, it's a hard run and it's a lot of games. But one, in the early stages of competition, you have a chance to experiment a little bit, and it's not in the Premier League. And two, I think we've seen talent come through there before in the likes of Rashford, Greenwood, other players from the youth team, and also as well next season. Do you think we're going to get top four? West Ham are one game away from getting in the Champions League through the Europa League. So it's a chance to get in the Champions League. So, Kev.
So sorry. Ben just sent me a picture, man. You've got to see this. I swear to God, he's going to kill me.
Yeah, I think
okay.
Go into it. Oh, he's
gone. He's gone.
He's been hit.
I might assume it's a farm animal in a full face of makeup.
It's all got a bit weird, haven't it?
It's all got weird now. It's all got weird.
Last
and
time
Kevin
someone
Ashford will
showed
come
their
back in
phone
a
on
second.
screen,
And there's
they gave
Geordie.
someone's phone number away. So that's why, Kev.
That is good thinking.
Genius.
That is good thinking.
I'm a pretty quick thinker, mate. Put your phone down. Put your phone down.
Well, guys, I like the fact that even after a 3-1 loss in London, that we're still able to come on here and actually pick apart the performance, pick apart the players, and Kevin Ashford, my left hand corner, can still enjoy his glass of wine. It's a nice way to finish off another loss.
Can I show the picture of the pig now? There's no telephone number on it, Geordie. Yeah? Are we ready?
I hope you would. I hope you would, Kev.
Yeah? And that's why I was laughing to myself. Pigs with lipstick, eh? Forget the match. Forget about Manchester United. This is the future. I'm getting that on a t-shirt, Jake, and I'll see you in Derry next month.
You know what, Kevin? I think in Derry, I think we both have to rock up there with two black t-shirts with pigs on. And if you know, you know, Kev's 40th. What do you reckon, mate?
Guys, before the end of the season, are we going to see United win again?
Oh.
Okay, so look at the running, guys. Chelsea, no. Brentford, I'd be dubious. Who else have we got after that, guys? Someone in the free chat will know.
I don't think it matters who we play, does it really, at the minute? We've got we don't look like a team who can put even a run of a couple of games together.
Actually, I'm not sure. Chelsea, at this moment in time, no. Brentford would be a very hard match. Brighton, very hard match. And the last game, Palace, which is again going to be a very hard match. So,
oh my God.
It is looking
hello, darkness, my old
so
friend.
we're just going to rewind now. Let's rewind for a second, Beth. And I am now going to throw you under the bus. I'm telling you beforehand, I'm going to throw you under the bus. Start of the season. Do you recall?
Oh my God, why?
Ronaldo, Beth Tucker, what did you say at the start of the season?
Right.
Do you want to remind everybody?
Actually,
Come on, Beth.
It's not
What
me
did you
this
say?
time.
let's just go into it and think no one could have foreseen the season that we had. You signed Varane, you signed Sancho, you signed Ronaldo. You think you're going to end up doing something.
Yeah,
Let's be honest. Now I look back, it was very naive what I said, and I would not be going in with them strong opinions at the start of this season. Also, as an excuse for time, I was on a little bit of a one where I just wanted to be a little bit positive. I was just throwing it out there. I didn't think this would get dragged out until the end of the season. But
end of the season, you're going to have to put up with this forever.
Yeah, just wait until I predict it this season. Wait for the prediction in August for next season, and then we'll get a new one in there.
So, Beth, are you saying now that you're now going to be as pragmatic as on and never ever get drunk on signings again?
Right, I'm not going to be pragmatic because I always like to see myself as positive, but I'm going to be more realistic. That is where we're going with it. More realistic.
So it won't be.
You also said we didn't need to sign a midfielder because McTominay had a good frame. No,
I never said that, and that's absolutely right. I've never ever said that. So don't even try and at me there. I've been saying that we need to sign a CDM for the longest. I said we need to get Eric Ten Hag in for the longest. I said that while we still had Ollie, I wanted Eric Ten Hag. So let's just not go all in on Beth, all right?
You're protesting too much.
No, listen, Beth, don't get me wrong. We're not going all in, Beth. It's just purely for banter. It's purely for banter. That's all. We know. We value as a colleague.
In this chat, though, and you say one good thing about a player, everyone thinks you loves him because everyone has an opinion about McTominay, which I also don't think he's good enough for the Manchester United first team. But because I defended him once and said he wasn't as unfit as someone was making out, suddenly I'm McTominay's biggest fan. I think people just need to stop jumping on the bandwagon with things.
No, I think Beth, in your defence, at the start of the season, McTominay's biggest fan was Mr. Rashford on the there, and it's very. And I think Kevin forgets that a little bit.
Don't be coming at me now. Don't be bringing me into this.
You're bigging up Scott. Remember?
Yeah.
You're sitting there like Doc taking it all in. So you are, but you are big. You are big on Rashford, being a local lad.
I might have thrown a bit of a flippant comment out one day where I said that Scott McTominay is a future Manchester United captain, but it might have been dodgy bottle of wine or something that I had, maybe. I don't know.
Blame it on the drink.
No,
listen, guys,
comment, Your Honour.
It's all good. As I said previously, it's great that we have the opportunity to come on here with all the fans watching and pick apart the game. And I know it's become literally the therapy stand. But, Jordan, it will not always be the therapy stand on a Saturday, Sunday afternoon, because new manager, new dawn, new day, new start. You give all the cliches right there. So the future is bright. It's no longer going to be glass half full. We have to be positive going forward from August, Jordan.
We do, but we always said that half the battle was the board appointing the right person. Congratulations to the board; they made the right decision. They've given the fans the manager they wanted. The other half is giving him the freedom and support to be able to influence change. And we have to be patient. That's our job. He can't fix everything over the summer, but I think we can't underestimate how much progress can be made in one summer.
How long are you going to give this manager, Jordan?
I've been patient. I think I was patient with Mourinho. I think that the Ollie thing for me, I was never Ollie in just because I seen how bad a job he did firsthand at Cardiff, and I could see it just wasn't right. I think as an interim manager, he came in and did what he was supposed to have done, which was raise spirits and stable the ship. We should have patted him on the back and said thank you then and let him go. We shouldn't have offered him the job. So I'll back Ten Hag. I think we have to, see how it goes.
I think Beth Tucker is definitely going to back Ten Hag. Are you not?
Oh, 100%. I always back the manager, and
we know that.
We know that.
Yeah. And
fair play.
Do you know what? I'm getting put in his bucket. Kev was exactly the same as me, and he's getting no stick.
I just get away. I just say I'll get away with it.
Exact same time as me.
Yeah.
back the manager, and I actually did say that I wanted Ten Hag for quite a long time, and I think he'll do well.
Always back to the manager. Love it.
There's nothing wrong with backing the manager, guys. It's a lot easier sometimes to find negative comments because they can always come into
Well, as Sir Alex Ferguson famously said when he retired in 2013, your job now is to back your new manager. And by God, I give David Moyes a right good backing. And by the end of it, I was...
You give David Moyes a right good backing, yeah.
Well, that sounds wrong. I don't even know what I just said.
Right, guys, let's wrap this up.
What the hell have I just said?
Right.
Oh.
Anyway, on the back of that show, I think we're all a bit delirious from how the recent games have gone.
Stop saying back. Just bring it. Okay. Just move on.
Yeah, well, I think we're all a bit delirious from how the games have gone, but hopefully we'll get to see another win before the end of the season. I mean, it's in God's hands now, as a lot of Twitter are saying, and we'll have to see what happens. But the rebuild starts in the summer, and I've just said, as a United fan, I've never wanted the season to be over this early, but this is how the results and the players have made us feel. So, Jordan, thank you again for coming on the Fan Forum.
Always a pleasure, Beth. Good to see you.
Good to see you too, unless you start throwing me under the bus again, which happens way too often at the moment. And Kev, thank you for coming on as well and cracking jokes as per usual.
Thanks as always. Honestly, after that today, I know we've renamed this the Therapy Forum. You know, some people pay to go to therapy, you know, and we get to sit here, and I feel a lot more relaxed now. I'm looking forward to the fight later on. I'll be staying up for that. Hopefully Tyson Fury can win. And a massive shout out to every single Arsenal fan that stopped by today to watch us. You know, helps with the algorithm, helps the United stand out, which is great. What I would say is, have you not got some Tim Pot channel of your own to go and watch? Why would you want to watch United fans? You know what I mean? Discussing Man United. Calling me salty. I've seen yous in the messages. That's why it's my opportunity to hit back right now. So have a bit of that.
Kev, we love it. We love it. And just lastly, before we actually do wrap it up, are we going with Fury tonight?
Yeah, man.
Yeah. We've got to go with Fury, Manchester, and obviously the best fighter in the world. Anyway, thank you everyone for watching, and we will see you on the next one.